Hey there, YouTubers. This is Luis from On-Site Auto and Truck Repair in Middletown, New York. So, I live in New York, and one of the most common repairs that we tend to do throughout the year in the state of New York are brake lines. In our winter months here, when we get snow and ice, we lay down a lot of calcium chloride that is very, very corrosive to the vehicles on the road, and that's why we do so many brake lines. We do a lot of brake lines and we do a lot of fuel lines. And I probably do maybe a couple dozen cars a year, maybe more, when it comes when they come in for brake lines. I love doing brake lines because it's a very profitable job. The parts themselves don't cost much. I mean, you're probably going to be to, like, for instance, do this pickup truck here, you'll probably be under $100 in parts, and that's using copper lines. I like it because it's all labor. It's labor intensive. Typically, to do a vehicle of this nature, even a car, you can bill anywhere from 8 to 12 hours. And, it depends on the make and models. And that's not, just putting the brake lines in and running them along the framer. I mean, that's tucking them up nice and neat, putting the proper bends in them and making it look as factory as possible. So that's why I like brake lines. And the other thing I like about brake lines, and you might think I'm crazy, is I actually find it to be quite relaxing. I don't know what it is, but I like, bending them, flaring them, tucking them in, and making it look as factory as possible. I find that to be very, very soothing. Now, I didn't always like to do brake lines. It was maybe up until 8 years ago where I started liking them. And what I found was the tool that I was using, which many of you are probably familiar with, didn't make it any fun. And I'm sure you know the tool that I'm talking about. It's the one with the clamp. You slide the brake line through and you do it all by hand. And what I disliked about that tool was a lot of times, I'm there struggling to, especially if you're working with a steel line, I'm there struggling to get it to flare. A lot of times I would have to recut and do the flare over again because it didn't come out perfect. And then at the end of the job, my hands were shot, and I've got bad hands to begin with, from mountain bike racing and road racing. So my hands and wrists are pretty much shot. And I ended up finding a tool. It's the hydraulic version of the old tool. It's a flaring tool. And I paid quite a bit of money. I think at the time when I bought this tool, I paid about $400 or $500. The tool itself paid for itself after the first job, and it also allowed me to finish the jobs a lot quicker. So yeah, I can build 8 to 12 hours, but I'm doing the job in 5 to 6 with this tool. So in this video, I'm going to show you the old tool that I used to use, and I'm going to show you the new tool, and I might even actually flare one just so that my viewers can see how quick it is to do a flare. A double flare. And what's neat about it is it's a perfect flare every time. If you learn how to use the tool, it will come out perfect 99.9% of the times. The kit that I have also doesn't just stop at brake lines. You could also do fuel lines, those quick disconnects that GM tends to use. You can do AC lines. So it's a very versatile kit. It's not just limited to doing brake lines. It comes with all the fittings to do 3/16, quarter-inch lines, so on and so forth. So it's a very valuable kit, especially if you're a shop owner and you're looking to increase productivity and profit. It's a kit that you should get, and like I said, it paid for itself after its first job. I'm a big fan of it. Several companies make it. I bought mine through my Snap-on rep at the time, and I haven't looked back since. So just hang tight. I'm going to go get the tool, and I'm going to show you guys what the old tool looked like and the new tool. And that's pretty much it. All right, YouTubers. So here's both tools. This is the newer tool that I use now. This is the older tool. And it's been a while since I've used this tool, this brake flaring tool, because I ended up going to this one here. And this one's actually made by Mastercool. It's part number 71475, and like I said, there's a bunch of other companies that manufacture these tools. You don't necessarily have to go with Mastercool, but I've been very, very happy with this brand. I haven't looked back since buying it, you know, several years ago. But anyway, so this is the old school style of flare and brake lines, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know, it works. It serves its function, and as you can see, you know, it's got your the piece here where you clamp down the brake line, and then you pick your fitting, whether you're using 3/16, 1/4 inch. You got a deburring tool here, and then you've got the clamp itself to do the fitting. And like I said before in the other video, was that my biggest issue with this was it was too time consuming to do. It was too slow, and my hands after every job were killing me. So it's been a while since I've used it. It's a little rusty and dirty, you know, but I keep it in the toolbox because you never know when you're gonna need it. So, all right. So here's the newer kit that I have, and you can see it's pretty much the same way. It works the same. Instead of having that long bar where you slide the brake line through, you got these little blocks, and you actually put them into this device here, and you slide your brake line through, depending on the size, whether it's 3/16, 1/4 inch, whatever it is, and you tighten it down, and you've got a hand pump, and you just pump, and it does a perfect flare every time. Here you've got your different attachments. You know, that's for a 3/16. You've got the cone here to double flare it. See, you've got your fuel line. These are for fuel lines. So this kit has a lot. This kit is very versatile. So don't think that you're just limited to doing brake lines. I mean, you can do everything from, you know, you can see there it says push connectors. You got GM fuel line forming. You got metric bubble flares there. 1/4 inch, 5/16, you know, 3/8. Very, very versatile kit. So all right, we're gonna do one just so you can see how quick it is to make one of these lines, and that's pretty much it. All right, YouTubers. So on this portion of the video, I'm gonna just demonstrate, you know, how quick it is to do these lines with this tool, this hydraulic tool, and you'll get to see how much easier it is. So we're using copper lines here. I tend to use copper lines on everything. It's been a while since I've used the steel lines. I like using copper because it's more flexible and more forgiving. You don't have to use a pipe, a brake line tool to bend them, to get the bends. This thing doesn't kink that easily. So very, very big fan of copper tubing. It makes life a hell of a lot easier, and this is going to be a permanent fix because obviously copper tubing does not rot away like the steel lines do. So this is the hydraulic tool for Master Cool, and you can see I've got my block here, which you put right into the slot, and just like a regular flaring tool, you know, you run your tube through the slot, and you bring it up until it's flush with the top of the block. And then you tighten it down so that when you go and you start hitting the lever, you know, it doesn't move on you. And most importantly too, don't forget to put your flare nut on there. I still do that mistake, and I've been in the business for, you know, coming on 13 years. So you turn it till it locks, and it's got a little valve here. And then you pump your little lever here until she stops. You release the valve, and she'll back herself out. You'll unscrew it, you know, a couple turns just to get the fitting out. And this is the 3/16 fitting there. And then we're going to put our cone fitting to double flare it. Just back it out a little bit more. There you go. You line it up with the hole. The reason why we're doing a brake line on this is I guess the wheel came off. This thing was in an accident and broke the brake line. So we're just doing a brake line so that the dealer who owns it can drive it to his body shop to get the body work done. So, well, that's that. And I will show you. Okay, so there's our line, flared and all. As you can see, that came out pretty damn perfect. This is what I like about that tool. Cuts down on time. You know, it doesn't cause so much wear and tear on your hands, and you can move on to the next one. All right, and this is once again, this is Luis from Onside Auto and Truck Repair. Hit like and subscribe, and if anybody got any questions, just feel free to leave a comment in the box. Thank you.